Organization for a New Destiny, in which I'm a board member. The Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson is here. I have to say that for Howard Kurtz because he gets upset when I don't mention it. She is the editor of Citizen Jane Politics and a contributor to the Daily Beast. Patricia Murphy is here. He was the former mayor of the great city of Providence in Rhode Island. He currently serves as the host of this highly successful and rated Buddy Cianci show. Also the author of a terrific book, Politics and Pasta. Vincent Buddy Cianci is here. All right. Weiner survived the week. He survived the week, and it just ended with, law enforcement going into the home of a 17-year-old girl investigating what he sent her. Of course, he denied it, but we had 10 days of lies, so how do you trust him?
Well, this is the only guy that can get into trouble with a sex scandal and not, have sex, I think, but according to him. But
Bill Clinton said, look,
well, that's his, that's probably his mentor, with that relationship.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, the calls for resignation calling on really a deaf ear, a tinner. He's not going to do it. You see, his problem is not so much that he twittered. His problem is that he lied. And when you lied in front,
I think it's both. You
it may be both.
A picture of your crotch to a 25, 6-year-old.
He's the only guy that can make that part of the body seem boring. I mean, but when you think about it, I mean, he twitters, and now they've got the 17-year-old that supposedly they're investigating, and that could escalate it. But you see, he doesn't have an alcohol problem where he can just go on TV and say, I'm going into rehab, and I made a mistake, but I'm going to get taken care of. Everybody claps.
He'll say a sex addiction.
Well, he doesn't say that. He says he doesn't know why it happened. It doesn't know. He can't explain it, and that's the problem.
Well, I'd love it if he would go to rehab. Anything it could possibly take to just nip this in the bud. But I think that the lying is a problem. I think the tweeting is a problem. This is just bizarre behavior, depraved, and bordering, if not crossing the line, into being a sexual predator online. And he may not have technically broken the law yet that we know about. But
even he admitted that he didn't know who was receiving these. When it's anonymous, you don't know.
Exactly. But if more details start to come out, if he was texting with this 17-year-old girl, I think that is a total game changer. As of yesterday on the Hill, he was kind of looking okay. He got this poll back that said his constituents don't want him to leave. I think his constituents would feel differently if there's a 17-year-old involved.
I don't know why this isn't enough. I don't know why, how did he survive up to this point? Why would it take a 17-year-old if that turned out to be true?
Well, I think the most interesting thing about what's happening with him right now is that a lot of men are going through this. Weiner was asked, why did you do this? He said, I don't know why I did it. I'm wrong, but I don't know why I did it. And I think it's time that men understand the spirit behind sex. Because when you really think about what's happening, there's no way Anthony Weiner would want to destroy his career, his family, his life.
It's funny you say that. Mark Foley was here last night for his first interview in 5 years. And I gave up this, I gave up this, I gave up this, I let everybody down. And obviously these guys get humiliated, but the compulsion still existed.
That was a very interesting interview, by the way. I happened to see it. But a lot of men, I've counseled with men of all ages, all races, poor and rich, and this thing is driving them. It's causing them to do things that they don't want to do.
What do you think it is?
I think that it's a spirit. It's come from anger. It's come from insecurity. So it's like,
in the case of Foley, he was molested by a priest when he was 11 years old.
But see, what happens when you're molested or if you have a bad parent and you become angry about that is judgment. And you become just like what you hate. And you would say, I would never do this. I would never do it. But it causes you to do it.
All this philosophy, I'll tell you.
It's not philosophy.
I agree with you, by the way, but I'm just saying the political problem is he lied. And once you lie...
Well, why is it just the lie, buddy? I mean, isn't it also... Listen,
it's credibility and trust.
If somebody sent your daughter a picture of if Weiner sends a picture of his wiener. I mean, I'm done with the Weiner jokes. I've heard them
all over the place.
But honestly... what would you think as a father?
Well, I would think terrible things about the guy who did it, obviously, and I think terrible things about this Anthony guy. I mean, Weiner. I mean, the guy, what do you want to call him? But the guy, look at him. He's almost crazed. And he's got a problem. Nobody liked him in Washington. That's the problem. That's why no one is standing up for him. No one is being with him.
He also doesn't have a group of friends who can come to him and say, it's time for you to go. There is nobody around him.
But now this separates the Democrat and the Republican Party.
Well, Anthony Weiner, I think, is particular in this case, he does not have a group of friends around him. He is known to be he needs to be the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
He needs to always be right. He needs to always have the attention on him.
See,
in a group of other politicians, that's not going to make
Is that
you
telling something about his personality, though?
They're going after this guy because they don't like him. My governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he had a baby that was like 10, 11, 12 years old that lived in the home with he and his wife and his other children. I don't see the liberal media going after him.
Why do you think that is?
And I think what this man did was worse, even though both are bad. Yeah. I think what was worse, Arnold was worse than what Weiner has done. But they seem to like Arnold a little better than they like Weiner.
I don't think that's
worse.
No, listen, Sean, this man had a son by the housekeeper, the woman that worked in his house, that was 12 years old.
And he hit it. How did he get away with it?
But this isn't his
You didn't get away with anything.
I got away with nothing. Yeah, absolutely nothing. Maybe I should get in a sex scandal or something. Get away with it there.
Yeah, go ahead. That's what you need.
Do you know? As far as Weiner goes, the problem is he doesn't have anybody coming next to him or to support him.
His
it's
wife
the same attitude, Sean, as when Elliot Spitzer got in trouble.
They hated him.
They hated him. They don't like Weiner.
Nobody liked him.
And so the same support.
But Weiner's wife
nobody
supported him.
Listen, I think probably within the next 48 hours we might report that Weiner's got a show on CNN. All right, we'll come back more with our great American panel. And we continue now with our great American panel. All right. Newt had a little issues with his staff. Romney is skipping the Iowa straw poll because some conservatives didn't like his comments about the environment and global warming. Palin, I love it. She's giving them fits every day. And Rick
probably going to get in.
Perry.
Yeah, might get in. Rick Perry of Texas. What do you think?
Well, I think he'd be a good addition to the team. I like. I think what we're seeing with Newt Gingrich is a suicidal mission. I don't know if he really wants to be president or not. He didn't have enough sense when he came back from the Greek Isles there to say, hey, I was going after the Greek vote.
We got a comment from him. Let's run this comment because this is what he said after all this.
First of all, I am a candidate for President of the United States because I think that we are in the early stages of the Obama depression. We live in a time when Americans are genuinely frightened for their country's future and when the country really wants to have leadership that talks with them honestly and isn't automatically doing the old politics. We make decisions as a couple. I think most couples would find that refreshing.
A lot of this deals with he took a vacation in the middle of the campaign. It's still very early, and his staff didn't like it.
But his staff didn't like it. They all left, or most of them left. They think his wife is having a lot to say about the campaign scheduling. He doesn't have any money, from what I understand, not a lot of money to spend on the campaign, and he's squandering whatever he has. And people left because, in the business they're in, resumes are important. Who did you work for? Well, Newt Gingrich. Well, really, we'll come back next week, we'll talk to you. And the fact is that Newt Gingrich is looking to write another chapter in his book. I don't know if he's got the fire in his belly. He's a smart guy, the smartest guy in the room, but he doesn't have the fire in the belly. And I don't think that he really and truly he doesn't want a traditional Republican campaign.
I think he wants to be a presidential candidate. I don't think
he doesn't want to work for it.
I don't think I don't even know that he doesn't want to work for it. I think
very early.
He wants to be a part of the conversation.
It's too early to make any final thought on anybody here, but I think he does have to show the fire in the belly. Because people have raised the question.
I think he wants to be a part of the conversation. He wants to be on the debate stage. He wants to have his opinion heard among a whole bunch of media who are listening, and there's no better place to be heard than on the presidential campaign trail. I don't think he and his wife were prepared to do
one thing I thought, I didn't like that he went on Meet the Press, and David Gregory plays gotcha, 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 and is that racist? And it was just idiotic, and that's when the Paul Ryan comment came up. And I'm thinking, maybe all these candidates, Republicans, ought to take a page from Sarah Palin and come to a simple truth.
Don't talk.
The liberal media hates you.
Oh, come
They will
on.
always hate you.
No.
They will never they will never treat a Republican candidate the way they bowed before the altar of Obama. Never. How this man got away?
I think Obama's a special case, but I don't think the answer is to not go on Meet the Press. You go on Meet the Press and you be prepared.
Don't get any,
you go on Meet the Press and give the answers that you want to give. I think that's the answer he wanted to give.
It's a myth that a lot of people watch those shows.
Refreshing.
A lot of people don't watch those shows comparatively. Go ahead.
I have to tell you, Sean, when I like Newt a whole lot.
Yeah, I do too.
But when he did a educational tour with racist, godless Al Sharpton, he lost me. And
Well, I
Newt was
debated
kinda-
Sharpton.
Newt was kind of all over the place, but Al Sharpton is called. Oh my God, I lost the thought. But Al Sharpton is against the families taking their tax dollars and taking their school choice. He called it racist. And Al Sharpton is the worst of the worst of the worst. And for Newt to go and travel with him and validate him.
For that one, wait a minute. For that one little issue?
No.
I think you've got to debate people you disagree.
Would he do it with KKK? If he could go out with Al Sharpton, would he go out with Newt, out with the head of the KKK? That's what I like to know.
I tore apart
the same people.
When I was in Alabama, these lunatics in the KKK, I got in their face but go ahead.
So why shouldn't he go and meet the press? I think
I didn't like the fact that he validated Sharpton. He's kind of with Nancy Pelosi.
You know, those are sideshows.
I want a politician
whether he can raise the money, whether he can keep a staff together, and whether he can reignite his campaign.
Won't we see how well he does in the debate?
He'll always do well in the debate. He's a pretty smart guy. He's the smartest guy in the room, but doesn't have the organization.
And by the way, Sean, America love you. Wichita Falls, Texas, Tea Party, love you down there. Alabama, all over. I have to tell you those things.
All right, thank you guys. And a sneak peek of something.